Hello.
Hello. Are we recording?
I think so.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna take your word for it here. Okay, it's the first time we're using Teams.
Indeed.
Let's
Yes.
let's give it a whirl, right? We're not stuck. We're not, what's the word?
We're not fixed.
We're not fixed.
Yes.
I was gonna say brand. What is it called? Brand loyal. We're not brand loyal, right?
Right.
Necessarily,
Yes.
right? Don't have to have use Zoom because we got Teams as well. Give it a whirl, right? Okay. Maybe see the difference if there was a way to find a difference between the two. Like in other cases, we would want to find differences. Maybe I don't know. What do we use? What might we use in certain situations?
Feeling you're jumping into the difference between two things. Is that right?
Yes, 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 yes. I'm giving a little bit segue there.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a good one, but it's a segue.
Well, if you compare two things, you can use a t-test. You've got independent, you've got paired, you've got Welch's t-test, you've
Okay.
got one sample t-test. And the great thing about t-tests is you just need two things to compare to each other.
Okay, so one particular metric, but amongst two groups,
Mm,
like possibly, I imagine a score on an exam, then maybe some kind of intervention, like some kind of a training course or something, and then maybe another score from the same student, maybe testing the difference between the two.
yeah, that sounds like a paired t-test.
Paired t-test, right? Because there's a one-to-one correspondence between, between one set of data and the other set of data. So yeah. Or I imagine if you're doing is it an in two sample t-test?
Yeah,
That's where you have two distinct groups. So you may be looking at first year students versus second year students, how much they have in the bank or something like that, some kind of metric between those two. So what's the point of using an ANOVA?
well, if you've got two groups, you can use a t-test. If you've got more than two groups, you can no longer use t-test. So we use an ANOVA instead.
Okay, okay. Oh, so groups within.
Mm,
So instead of saying first year and second year, maybe first, second, and third year.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, okay. So all right, that's good. And is that still considered a one-way ANOVA?
Yes. So with the one way ANOVA, the one way only refers to the number of independent variables that you have. So not to do with the number of groups you have or the number of conditions you have. It is just the number of independent variables.
The number, wait a minute, the number of groups within one independent variable?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, okay. And then a two-way.
Yep, so that would be for two independent variables. So not necessarily you've got two groups, but you've got two separate sets of groups, if you like.
Okay.
So it could be that one independent variable is first year, second year, third year, but a second independent variable would be men and women.
Ah, okay, okay. Within those particular, I see. So you're trying to see if there's some kind of a significant difference within those groups? Okay, all right.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So I can see, I can definitely, and are there assumptions that need to be met for like if I know for t-tests, right, we have to have something that's somewhat normally distributed.
Yeah.
All right, and then homogeneity as well, I think, is another
Mm-hmm.
condition. Is that the same thing for ANOVA tests?
Yes, so ANOVAs are parametric tests. So your data needs to meet the assumptions of parametricity. So normal distribution, homogeneity, and independence. So as long as your data meets these three things, you can do an ANOVA. If any of them fail, you can't do an ANOVA. You have to do a non-parametric equivalent.
A
Wait,
non-parametric equivalent to the ANOVA.
yes.
And what is that? I'm
I
forgetting.
believe off the top of my head, that is Wilcoxon's signed rank test.
Ah, okay, okay, right. That's something that we use. Yeah, that's right. When we have something that's not normally distributed, Are we testing about on the means then? Oh, sorry, on the medians as opposed to the means
We would be.
when we're using those non-parametric tests?
Yes.
Okay, all right, that's cool. Should we maybe come up with an example, specific example, or there's also some formulas possibly, right? That we might be looking or formulas, or maybe a better question would be, I know for a t-test we use a um what distribution, the t-distribution, of course, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's somewhat normal. Well, it's a family of distributions that are similar to the normal that become the normal distribution. As soon as you get enough degrees of freedom, you're basically looking at the normal distribution.
Yeah.
So for ANOVA, I think it's analysis of variance, right?
It is. Yeah.
It's a test where you're looking at variances, right? I don't know if that's
Yeah, I guess
plural.
so. Yeah.
So I think we use so we'd be using either a chi-squared or an F distribution.
It is. It's an F test.
It's an
So
F test. Okay, so an F
yes.
test.
So when
Excuse me.
we do an ANOVA, there's two things that we absolutely have to report. Everything else you can then is advised and whatever. But the two things that you absolutely have to report is the F statistic and the p-value.
On the
And
p-value,
those
right?
two things tell you everything that you need to know about the model.
Okay, great. So if I'm not mistaken, it's a ratio that we're looking at, right? Because I know there's two different degrees of freedom that you have to define for an F table to be able to use a proper F distribution, and it is I have something here that's telling me that F statistic is the between group variance. So
Mm-hmm.
if we were talking about, well, let me finish that thought. So that F statistic is the between group variance divided by the within group variance. And we're looking at so that particular ratio. So the between group variance would be in our particular example, or we can make up a specific example to talk about what the between group variance and the within group variance. Oh, wait a minute. So does between group variance mean the variance of all the data? Or is it because when we say the within group variance, we're looking within a certain group. So if we say first, second, and third year students,
Yeah.
those would be the three groups that we're talking about. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a certain variance that's associated with being with each one of those groups,
Yes.
correct?
Mm-hmm.
So is the between is are we looking at, I imagine we're looking at the variance of the whole random variable in that case.
We would be. Yes. So what the F statistic measures, sorry, messed up the grammar
Okay,
there,
you're good.
is if we take the whole data set and we've got, the variance within it, but we've also got the three groups that comprise that data set. What is the variance? Not change, but like how does it differ
How
between
does
those
it differ?
groups? Yeah.
Right.
And it uses that difference to tell us if there is a significant difference, a significant, not change, but difference between
If
them.
there's a difference between those two, I see. So
Yeah,
so we're trying to see if going through those particular categories gives us a significant difference in what those means happen to be.
yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
I've seen this particular representation of looking at an analysis of variances where, and I don't know if that maybe you can critique this or if I'm off at all, and plus it gives us a chance to use the drawing utility here to see how well it works. Let me see if I can pull up a whiteboard here. Like I said, I'm not familiar with it, and I don't want to ruin anything here, but I'm not seeing specifically where I might be able to put up a whiteboard.
If
Uh,
you have a whiteboard on your computer or your laptop, you can pull that up and then share your screen.
all right, okay. So let me see if I can open up. I guess OneNote might work, right?
Sure.
Let me get my OneNote going here. And sorry for the for the weight here.
It's all good.
But let me see, OneNote. There we go. I think I have it. I don't know if I've used OneNote every once in a while, and it does. It's here we are. Oh, okay, I've got stuff here. Let me see if I can get rid of. There we go. Okay, now I got a nice whiteboard here. Let me see if I can share that now. Here we go. There we are. Is that it? I think this is it. Let's see. Does it share it? Do you see a whiteboard here?
I do.
You do? Okay. All right. Let's see if we could work. So let's say, if I'm not mistaken, and again, if I'm doing something wrong here, please let me know. Okay. So let's say we have, let's say for the first year, and let's say we'll use another color for the second year, second year. Okay. And let's say that all of our, let's say all of our first year have, or sorry, second year have, let me make some points here, the best points, but you get the point, I guess.
I get
All
the
right.
point.
You get the point. I know, terrible. I don't think people watching this video are, they may or may not appreciate a decent pun.
Everyone downvote the video.
What was that? Say again?
Everyone downvote the video.
Yeah. So we got for the second year, let's say we've got points that are somewhere here. There's some kind of a scale, let's say here. Oh, let me see if I can draw an actual line here. A straight one. Do they give us that option or no? They may not give me that
No.
option. I'll do my best to draw it. Oops, to draw it nice and straight. Here, let's try it. So there's our axis, let's say, okay? Oh, what happened there? Oh, that's a magical one that disappears after a while. So
Weird.
let's say here, let's say this yellow line off to the side. Let's say that's the amount of pounds they have in the bank, let's say. So that's a scale there, okay? So it looks like the second years might have stuff that's up there. Let's say the first years, I don't know. It almost makes sense that the second year would have less than the first year because they spent a bunch of money. But let's say it's this for right now, okay?
Yeah.
So if we've got this particular situation, right, we can say that all of the points here, right, lie between, so the variance in a sense talks about data that lies somewhere from that top limit to the bottom limit, right? Okay, so there's a certain variance associated with this particular interval, right? Taking all of them into account, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, but the variance for the green, right, for the first year looks like it's right here, and for the second year it looks like it's right here. Okay, so there's a little bit of overlaps. You can almost say, or there's not that much overlap. So you can almost say, well, these two different groups are kind of causing this widespread interval where all of our data is living, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that somehow gets compared, right, to a situation like, let's say if we had this here, we can say, okay, that particular gap, we can see that the two different groups are causing this gap because there's not much overlap with the two. But if we had this situation, I'm going to see if I can use this. There's a lasso there.
Oh, love it.
That, whoa. If it was there, is that all right? If it was there, now all of a sudden, this variance, let me move this guy. Oh, what the hell was that?
Oh, try again.
I have to put all of it in there. Oh, it was just 2 points. There was a couple of errant points down there.
Yeah.
Now I can move this bit up here. Hey, I like teams a little bit. I don't know. Maybe the functionality is a little bit nicer here. I'm sure Microsoft is happy that we're, pleased with this this particular app. But here is where our variance, that's kind of the range where our variance for the whole thing, right, is kind of talking about the interval between that's a little bit smaller now. So here you can say, well, there's not much difference, right? In the variance, the explained part of the we can't really explain the variance because there's two groups in this particular case.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Does that seem correct? Does that
I think so.
analogy seem correct? Maybe it's a little bit simplistic, but kind of talks about the how do you call it? Maybe the nice way to kind of think about it in a sense.
Absolutely.
All right. Okay. Cool. So, what do you think? Maybe come back with a couple of examples as a follow up to this video.
Sure.
Is
Let's do
that
an
good?
example next
Is
time.
a good place to stop?
Yeah.
Okay. Not
Excellent.
much editing needs to happen because just a little bit of maybe that little bit I'll just leave it in where I'm kind of fumbling around trying to find OneNote.
I like those kind of bits and videos. It gives
Yeah.
it that authenticity.
Yeah. It does. It does. All right, Laura. Well, it was a pleasure again, as always. And I love
Of
your
course.
background there. Very
Thank you.
nice. Very
I love
nice.
yours.
Do you
Looks like a
really?
cloud
This
of
is I'm out in
pollen.
the field here. I got a little bit of a how do you call it, hay fever, so maybe that's why I don't sound as sound a little bit stuffy. All
Oh
the
dear.
all the pollen flying around behind me in the field. Uh, are you going to end up doing another exact same thing there behind you, and then end up making an infinity symbol? Because it'll work,
Maybe.
right? Oh, well done.
There.
Hey, well
My
done.
arms aren't
Do
big
one of
enough.
these. Do one of these on the other one on your right hand side. Yeah, the other way. All right, we'll work on
Like
that.
that?
Oh, there it is. Well done. Well done.
Love
Very
it.
nice. Very nice. All right. All right, kiddo. I'll talk to you next time. Okay.
Indeed. See you
All
next
right,
time.
and have a nice weekend too. It's Friday, right?
It
So
is.
have a great weekend. I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.
All right.